"What game are you playing, my child?" the Stellan inquired as he approached the boy who was enjoying the outdoor sun, despite his advanced age of several centuries by human reckoning. Cursed be that race. His lithe form still mirrored that of his youthful son, with an elegant economy of motion evident in every movement. "I'm playing war, father," the boy replied with unbridled enthusiasm, wielding his toy sword with an agile grace that the greatest human acrobats would envy. "One day, when I am old enough, I shall join the League of Warriors and wage war against the foul humans as you did, father. This time we will drive them out from the Rim worlds once and for all." At his son's words, the elder Stellan felt his knees buckle beneath him, a lump forming in his throat as terror's icy grip seized his heart. "Father," the younger Stellan asked, noticing his father's stagger. "What's wrong? Shall I call the healer?" "Sit down, my son. Would you like me to tell you a story about my days fighting the humans all those long centuries ago, before I met your mother, before I had you? A true story, unlike the ones the Grand Council tells." "But father," the boy protested, "the council speaks of great victories, of valiant deeds by our warriors and successful strikes against the humans." "They lie, my dear son," the elder Stellan said flatly, disregarding the look of disbelief on his son's face as he continued. "Lies that I, too, once believed. The council tells us that the humans started the war, that their race sought to finish what they began when they drove us, the Durer, and the Urak off our homeworld. They claim the humans attacked Violin, Gilia, and Trinal, and they speak of valiant last stands, heroic actions, and a final assault that drove the humans off our worlds. Do they not? I tell you, my child, they are lies. In truth, we initiated the war. Violin, Gilia, and Trinal were the worlds where we gathered our troops. I myself was born on Trinal. You should have seen us, my child. 20,000 of our world's finest, arrayed in gleaming armor, protected by the best force fields, armed with lancer blades and fish bows. We knew that 50,000 more warriors from Vilson and Gilia leagues would later join us. Our first and only target was the human world of Lee's world. We mocked the name, mocked the humans' lack of creativity, and thought it a simple matter to drive them off the world and claim it for our own. We had superior technology, and no race travels faster in space, in the sky, or on the ground than we do. We landed and struck swiftly, catching the token garrison entirely by surprise. It was a sparsely settled world, and after a week, we believed the world pacified. We were wrong, my child. Did you know that every human is willing to fight? Not just their nobles, but also their shopkeepers, their farmers, their road workers, their scientists, all were ready and capable of learning the arts of war. We found it unsettling that despite, or perhaps because of, their short lives, they are capable of learning so much in so little time. How long did it take you to learn the art of the warrior, my child? 10 years? 20? What if I told you that a human child needs but a week to become a passable, if not fully competent, warrior? What if I told you that human design philosophies ensure their weapons and war equipment focus not on killing power, but on ease of use, so that anyone might wage war on their race's behalf? You are 90 years old by human reckoning, and yet you are just learning to use your sword. Even with the regenerative technology the humans use, you would be considered old. And yet by this age, a human could conceivably lead an army. Trained properly, a human a third your age could fight toe-to-toe with a savage Uruk. Not only that, but a human is capable of bearing more than one child at a time, and in some human societies, such an achievement is celebrated, even encouraged. I know it's hard to believe, but that is the reality. The human assault came soon after, those 2 months. A massive fleet, yet only a fraction of their entire imperial forces, soon emerged into space above us and immediately began landing troops. My child, have you seen a human drop army deploying? Ship after ship dropping soldiers on rocket packs, raining armies from above. For so long, our masters have used technosorcery to teleport. We simply didn't consider that humans, with their absolute lack of magic, would resort to such methods to deploy their armies. While our masters and captains teleported wherever they were needed most, there were simply too many humans in too many places to fight. Oh yes, my child, too many humans. Not even 70,000 warriors could combat them. It sounds unbelievable only to those who have never faced a human army. Tell me, how many soldiers do you think they dropped? No, not 100,000. 200,000? No, my child, guess again. We would have defeated them even if they had landed that many. Enough guessing. I'll tell you, they landed over 6 million soldiers on Lee's world that day. How do I know? Let me finish the story. Our army was destroyed the day they landed. Warriors I had trained alongside and fought beside for more than 100 years were cut down in a storm of war. The human lasers were so numerous that I saw many of our soldiers obliterated in what seemed to my eyes a wall of light. A single laser would have caused our shields to flicker, but 100 would demolish both the shield and its wearer. Human artillery never ceased its thunder, and for every human we killed, it seemed like 100 more would take his place. We Stellan are trained to face enemies in single combat, each of us. But not even the greatest avatar of war can defend all sides at once. The humans do not understand our concept of honorable combat, seeing one-on-one battles between equals as foolish. Instead, they struck at our supply lines, poisoned our food and drink, broadcast loud propaganda at night to disrupt our rest, and unleashed vermin that carried plagues their bodies could withstand, but ours could not. When all that was done, they took pot shots at us from afar with snipers and drones. Only when we were truly weakened did their assaults come. We did not force the humans off our worlds, my son. They forced us off theirs. They proceeded to bomb, then raid, Vilson, Gilia, and Trell, ignoring our pleas for peace. They burned the world trees of each world, rendering them magicless for centuries to come. The valiant struggles by our warriors to drive them off? They were almost all failures. Our only victories came from attacks on isolated supply stations and minor supply line raids, victories that the Council milked for all they were worth. In the end, only after their thirst for vengeance was satisfied, did the humans leave. Yes, they were bought off. Bought off by the Council with Technosorcerous secrets and slaves. Don't believe me? I was imprisoned after the assault. One of only a few hundred of our forces sent to war. I met your mother in that prison, you know. A galleon. She outranked me, but in there we were all equals. You and she are the only good things that came from that war, and I thank the stars and moons every day that I was so blessed. We were released and walked through the holds of the human transports so that we could see who we had made war with, and the cost of doing so, and thus bring the news back to our worlds. I saw holds brimming with Stellan treasures, weapons, and slaves. Troop transports, each carrying more soldiers than the forces we sent to Lee's world. You know how those who boast tend to exaggerate their accomplishments? Our warden, the commander of the human forces, was telling us about the troops he had brought, and the number I arrived at, 6 million, was one I came up with after downgrading his own words. I refused to believe that even among the humans, they could somehow muster more than 20 million soldiers to bring to a single world. But in any case, my son, dear heart, set your sights on other things besides the humans. Wage war against the Uruk, or the Dureen, or the cursed ILM, or the warrior breeds of the Chan hives. For those wars? Those we might win. Anything but those accursed humans.